Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and remember, context is everything Media Network founder and CEO John Michael is reading a textbook, cover to cover. And today, we're here in chapter 22, page 562 of 1007, and we're looking at the Industrial Revolution here. But this is the culture that went along with the Industrial Revolution's evolution. Yesterday, we talked about Darwin, urban age, public education. Check that out. Today, we talk about a new culture. Here it is, now. Please like and subscribe. Setting the scene. My name is John Michael. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. That's subscribe. That's like. Setting the scene. In 1800s, many writers turned away from harsh realities of industrial life to celebrate the natural world. The English poet William Wordsworth described the peace and beauty of the sunset. It is a beauteous evening, calm and free. The holy time is quiet as a nun, breathless with adoration. The broad sun is sinking down in its tranquility. William Wordsworth, complete poetic works. Other writers, however, made the new industrialized urban society the subject of their work. New heading. I mean sunglasses. These aren't sunglasses. I think these are like driving glasses for people that don't have very good vision. They make things more bright. Wordsworth was part of a cultural movement called Romanticism. From about 1750 to 1850, Romanticism shaped Western literature and arts. Romantic writers, artists, and composers rebelled against the Enlightenment emphasis on reason and progress. They glorified nature and sought to excite strong emotions in their audience. The Romantic hero. Romantic writers created a new kind of hero, a mysterious, melancholy figure who felt out of step with society. My joys, my grief, my passions and my powers made me stranger, not stronger, stranger, wrote Britain's Lord Byron. He himself was a larger-than-life figure equal to those he created. Public interest in his poetry and adventures was so great that moody, isolated romantic heroes came to be described as Byronic of Byron. Byronic. The romantic hero often hid a guilty secret. Kind of interested in the description of a romantic hero, just as a definition. I think that's interesting. Thus the tab. The romantic hero. There you go. The romantic hero often hid a guilty secret and faced a grim destiny. Germany's greatest writer, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, wrote dramatic poem Faust. The aging soldier, the aging scholar Faust makes a pact with the devil, exchanging his soul for youth. After much agony, Faust wins salvation by accepting his duty to help others. In Jane Eyre, British novelist Charlotte Bronte weaves a tale about a quiet governess and her brooding Byronic employer, whose large mansion conceals terrifying secrets. A romance of the past. Romantic writers combed history, legend, and folklore. Sir Walter Scott's novel, and ballads evoked the turbulent history of Scottish clans or medieval knights. Alexandre Dumas recreated France's past in novels like Three Musketeers. Dumas? Music. Romantic composers also tried to stir deep emotions. The passionate music of German composer Ludwig van Beethoven combined classical forms with stirring range of sound. He was the first composer to take full advantage of the broad range of the instruments in the modern orchestra. In all, Beethoven produced 9 symphonies, 5 piano concertos, and a violin concerto, an opera, 2 masses, and dozens of shorter pieces. To many, he is considered the greatest composer of his day. Other Romantic composers wove traditional folk melodies into their work to glorify their nation's past. In his piano works, Frédéric Chopin used Polish peasant dances to convey the sorrows and joys of people living under foreign occupation. Romanticism in art. Painters, too, broke free from the discipline and strict rules of the Enlightenment. Landscape paintings like J.M.W. Turner sought to capture the beauty and power of nature, the sublime. That's what it's called. Beauty and power of nature is the definition of the word sublime. Did you know that? If you didn't know that, please like and subscribe. Because I can teach, I promise. Something. I'm just talking. Please like and subscribe, for goodness sake. Although I do appreciate your presence here, even if you don't. Thank you. Romantics painted many subjects. J.M.W. Turner sought to capture the beauty and power of nature, the sublime. Using bold brushstrokes and colors, Turner showed tiny human figures struggling against sea and storm. Romantics painted many subjects, from simple peasant life to medieval knights to current events. Bright colors conveyed violent energy and emotion. The French painter Eugène Delacroix filled his canvases with dramatic action. The liberty leading the people. The goddess of the liberty carries a revolution tricolor as French citizens rally to the cause. That's the cover of the Coldplay album. Call to Realism. New heading. The Call to Realism. By the mid-1800s, new artistic movement, realism, took hold in the West. Realism was an attempt to represent the world as it was. Realists often focused their work on the harsh side of life, in cities and villages. Many writers and artists were committed to improving the lot of the unfortunates whose lives they depicted. Here is a realist's painting of men and children breaking rocks. The novel. The English novelist Charles Dickens vividly portrayed lives of slum dwellers and factory workers, including children. In Oliver Twist, he tells a story of a 9-year-old orphan who raised in a grim poorhouse. One day, young Oliver gets up the nerve to ask for extra food. Child as he was desperate with hunger and reckless with misery. He rose from the table and, advancing to the master, basin and spoon in hand, said, somewhat alarming at his own boldness, "Please, sir, I want some more." Charles Dickens's Oliver Twist. In response to the simple request, Oliver is smacked in the head and sent away to work. Later, he runs away to London. There, he's taken in by Fagin, a villain who trains homeless children to become pickpocketers. Oliver Twist shocked many middle-class readers with its picture of poverty, mistreatment of children, and urban crime. Yet Dickens' humor and colorful characters made him one of the most popular novelists in the world. French novelists also portrayed the ills of their time. In Les Miserables, Victor Hugo revealed how hunger drove a good man to crime and how law hounded him ever after. The novels of Émile Zola painted an even grimmer picture. In Germinal, Zola exposed class warfare in the French mining industry. To Zola's characters, neither the Enlightenment's faith in reason nor romantic feelings mattered at all. Drama. Norwegian dramatist Henrik Ibsen brought realism to the stage. His plays attacked the hypocrisy he observed around him. A Doll's House showed a woman caught in a straitjacket of social rules. In An Enemy of the People, a doctor discovers that the water in a local spa is polluted. Because the town's economy depends on the spa, citizens denounce the doctor and suppress the truth. Like the guy with washing the hands. Look at the video. I'll post it right over here. The video, I think it was 2 videos ago, where I saw that they, in this book, glossed over the fact that there was a ostracized doctor who suggested hand washing 30 or 40 years before the guy who they gave credit to. Hand washing being an important thing in hospitals. There was a guy before that, and I linked an article to NPR, so you can't deny it. Realism in art. Painters also represented realities of their time. Rejecting the romantic emphasis on imagination, they focused on ordinary subjects, especially working-class men and women. "I cannot paint an angel," said the French realist Gustave Courbet, "because I haven't seen one." Instead, he painted works such as The Stone Breakers, which I showed you on the previous page, which shows 2 rough laborers in a country road. Later in the century, The Gross Clinic by American painter Thomas Eakins, E-A-K-I-N-S, Thomas Eakins, shocked viewers with its realistic depiction of middle class conducting a dissection. Shocked viewers with realistic depiction of a middle class conducting a dissection. D-I-S-S-E-C-T-I-O-N is dissection, right? I don't know what they're saying. New directions of the visual arts. Folks, I'm very happy to have you along here today, and I would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you're interested, I will finish this textbook and then do other things. As of right now, I'm halfway through the textbook, so if you like and subscribe now, you can see that I will actually finish and follow through with the thing that I've set out to do. Finish the entire textbook, and then I'll be on to bigger and better things, but join in now, getting into the ground floor, and I'll really smile. New directions in the visual arts. By the 1840s, a new art form, photography, was emerging. Louis Daguerre in France and William Fox Talbot in England had improved on earlier technologies to produce successful photographs. At first, many many photos were stiff-posed portraits of middle-class families or prominent people. Other photographs reflected the romantic's fascination with faraway places. In time, photographers used the camera to present the grim realities of life. During the American Civil War, Matthew B. Brady, I got a good story about Matthew B. Brady, preserved a vivid, realistic record of the corpse-strewn battlefields. Other photographers provided vivid evidence of harsh conditions in industrial factories or slums. Stay till the end, which is going to be in about 2 minutes, and I'll tell you about Matthew Brady. Fun fact. The Impressionists. Photography was posed a challenge to painters. Why try for realism? Some artists asked, when a camera can do the same thing better. By the 1870s, a group of painters took art in a new direction, seeking to capture the first fleeting impression made by a scene or object in the viewer's eye. Mind's eye. Third eye. Eye. The new movement was known as Impressionism. It took root in Paris, the capital of Western art. Since the Renaissance, painters had carefully finished their paintings so that not a brush stroke showed, but Impressionists like Cloude Monet and Edgar Degas brushed strokes so colorful, brushed strokes of color side by side without any bleeding. According to new scientific studies, the optics of human eye would mix these patches of color. I'm not sure what they mean, but okay. Since by concentrating on visual impressions rather than realism, artists achieved a fresh view of familiar subjects. Monet, for example, painted the cathedral at Rouen, France, dozens of times from the same angle, capturing how it looked in different lights at different times of day. Post-Impressionism, and this is where we'll end off today. Thank you for your time, and then I'll tell you about Matthew Brady and his photograph of President Ulysses S. Grant. Later painters called post-impressionists developed a variety of styles. Georges Seurat arranged small dots of color and defined shapes of objects. The Dutch painter Vincent van Gogh experimented with sharp brush lines and bright colors. Paul Gauguin developed a bold personal style. He rejected the materialism of the Western life and went to live in the island of Tahiti. In his paintings, people look flat, as in primitive folk art, but his brooding colors and black outlines of shapes convey intense feelings and images. Matthew Brady. Who is Matthew Brady? Matthew Brady is a Civil War field photographer. In Civil War form, he photographed, after the fact, the commanding general of the Union Army. That would be Ulysses S. Grant, future president. Not a very good president, apparently, but a good man. What they would have to do back then, because this was before light bulbs, is they would have to have a lot of natural light. So what Matthew Brady had in his studio was a big skylight, glass, under which the subject would sit, because it takes a little bit of time for these old photos to take. So the person would have to sit really straight for a while the light is shining on them so that the camera can get the image. Well, let me tell you this. Maybe this is folklore, but I read it in a book that was pretty reputable. Ulysses is sitting there getting his photograph taken, and that skylight that I mentioned before, right, glass all over his head, it shattered. Imagine that, a big skylight with old glass, shattered, and fell from heights all around Ulysses S. Grant, who apparently, allegedly, didn't move a muscle. Can you imagine? Glass. Didn't even cover his head. Have a good day. God bless. Goodbye. Enjoy the weather. Love you.